Hello there, I'm Kim Mykoff, and this is where we talk about how to empower your people to accelerate your business. And today I want to talk about kind of the components of our individual health. So this is for us as leaders, it's for us as managers, but it's also for our team members. So I like to look at kind of our lives or our person as 5 various components. There's the mental health piece, there's emotional health, there's physical, there is spiritual, and then there's social. Those are the pieces that I really look at. Today, I want to talk about the mental health side of things. Now, I'm not going to get into mental health as far as depression, anxiety, all that stuff. That's for those professionals to do. I am a coach, not a therapist. But what I will talk about in relation to mental health is something that we all have probably heard of called mindfulness. So mindfulness is a tool that I have found extremely useful that helps basically give me space to see and observe whatever thoughts I'm having and feelings that I'm having. So a lot of times we might be in a situation where we get upset about something and our thoughts are running wild about it. Our emotions might be very heightened about it. And we tend to just react to whatever we're feeling, whatever we're thinking. And usually what we're thinking is not the most helpful thing. It's usually kind of victim-y stuff, blamey stuff, complaining stuff, wanting to attack somebody else, not physically necessarily, but verbally, or, just angry, frustrated. So those thoughts that show up when we get triggered, a lot of times they just happen. We're not really even aware that they're happening. What I've learned is if I can figure out how to take a pause and a break, which is the mindfulness piece, and step back and see and observe what my thoughts actually are, I realize that there are a lot of stories that I make up. So somebody might say something to me or do something that hurts my feelings, and I immediately go into these stories about, this person doesn't like me, this person thinks I'm an idiot, this person thinks I'm stupid, whatever those things are. They could also be thoughts that are more about myself, like I am stupid, I'm an idiot, all this kind of shame stuff, putting myself down. It's usually negative, not positive, which is unfortunate, but the case. So the mindfulness practices, which I'm sure many of you know about, really helps you take that step, that space, create space between the thoughts enough for this observing part of yourself to come in and really look at those thoughts and realize that, these things I'm thinking. And then you can evaluate, are they true or not? You can actually even ask somebody. So Brene Brown talks a lot about the stories, right? And you could ask them, the story I'm telling myself is, you think I'm an idiot. Is that true? The way you just said that to me. And they can respond yes or no. And usually they say yes. They say no. They don't say yes. They say no. They say, no, that's not what I was meaning. I was just meaning that blah, 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 whatever. So our mental health or our mindfulness, our ability to see that everything we think is not true. Everything we believe is actually not true. Those are just our beliefs. A belief is not true necessarily. It is something that I take to be true, but is not true in the bigger sense always. So when we can actually see that these are things that we are creating and that they may not actually be true, and we challenge them in some way, we can actually learn how to respond to these situations versus just react to the situation. So mindfulness, mindset is also another piece of kind of creating healthier mental health. So whatever mindset I'm in really affects how I feel about myself, affects what I do during the day, how I interact with other people, how I communicate. So if my mindset is a very, let's say, I think of it as kind of a victim mindset versus a warrior mindset, right? So if my mindset is very victim, and I blame a lot of stuff on other people because everybody's out to get me. Oh, woe is me. This happened to me. This happened to me. This person did this to me. This situation is doing, the universe is doing this to me. I used to be like this. So I know this very well. I used to, the word universe is against me. Everybody's against me. When we're in this victim place, it's a very negative mindset, and we don't have any power in the victim place because everything's everybody else's fault and we can't change anybody else. All we can do is change ourselves. So moving from maybe a victim mindset to a warrior mindset is more about, this is happening right now. This is frustrating. What can I do to try to make things better? What's my responsibility? What do I have ownership of? What do I have control of? What can I actually do in this situation? And then try to move forward to make it better. When we are in that mindset, we have tons of power because it's all about changing ourselves. Now, what's interesting about that, I think, is that the situation may not even change, or the person, who's being cruel to you may not even change. But because we start to change how we're looking at stuff, and then that changes our feelings and it changes our behaviors, we start to do different things that create something new. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. But this is all about, how do I do something different to get a different result? Okay. So again, all of these pieces, mental health, emotional, spiritual, physical, and social, all combine to create healthy individuals. And if any one of these is, not super great, we have areas to work on. So it doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. We all have areas to work on. What I have found is that I kind of go in cycles. There's times where I'm really working on my mindset. There's times where I'm really working on paying attention to my emotions. There's times where my physical health is really important and I'm trying to exercise more, eat better, all that. And they sort of go in cycles. Now, what's cool about it, or not, depending on how you look at it, they all affect each other, right? So the stronger I get in the mindset area, the better I feel usually. And then my behaviors, my actions become more healthy, which can be, I exercise better more often, I eat better more often. So they all affect each other, but it's interesting, I think, just to kind of separate them out and to focus on maybe one at a time, at least until you get in the habit of doing them regularly, and then they can kind of integrate and connect. So, all right. That's the mindset piece, the mental health piece that I am looking at. And if you have any questions, let me know. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.